Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha. Well, before we begin, let's petition. Baruch Hashem. We thank you, Abba, for this week. We thank you for the protection and the travel during travels that you've given us, that you put angels around about us and guard us. We thank you for that. And Abba, we thank you for providing for our food, shelter, clothing, and travel needs. And Father, we thank you for sending health and healing to those that are looking for healing. We bless your holy name. Baruch Hashem. Okay, so this week a lot has been happening, and if I started to cover all that lot, probably take me a long time. I'm going to cover it in a summary form because there's a lot happening in the east and in the west both. First of all, let's come to Israel. Israel had an attack by Hamas on the south side, and they had an attack from the other guys, Hezbollah, in the north side, Lebanon side. So the situation very tense in Israel at this present time. One of their, which I find extremely disturbing, I should say. I find extremely disturbing that one of the Israeli commanders, was a prominent commander, Nimrod Aloni, was abducted, captured and taken by Hamas. I mean, it's unheard of in the past that such a thing could happen from within Israel. So, Israel is right this moment has said that we're at war, and a lot is going on. As you know, there's been casualties on both sides. There's been, first of all, I think there was reported 100 casualties in Israel, and there's about 300 casualties, maybe more, on the other side. Now, I have written books on end times before. I encourage you to go buy the books, which are available at Amazon, and you can buy the books such as Unmasking the End Times Beast, Salvation of the Jews. All of those books are available. Now, when I say salvation, World War III salvation of the Jews, it doesn't mean that they need to be redeemed in some way. It means that what happens at the end, how is their rescue coming about, etc. It talks about the Messiah. It talks about what was happening when I was writing the books and what I predicted and prophesied about the future. And those things are now they are transpiring. Although I will say this is not yet the end. So don't worry, don't get too excited or too fearful. This is not yet the end. This is just the beginning. These are the beginning stages of what is about to come in the distant future, okay? So do not worry about it. You don't need to hoard food. There may be some people saying hoard food and all this. No, you don't need to hoard food. Don't need to do any of that. But I would encourage you to keep some food in the home, which I always do in any circumstances. It could be a disaster in America, a flood, a hurricane, something like that. In those kind of situations, you do need to have some food in the house that you can, in your pantry, that you can, store for maybe, if not too long, maybe 3 months. I always encourage you to keep rice in the house, always, because rice will last many years. Keep 20 kilogram rice in your house, always. Make sure you do that, because, if everything goes, and if everything was to shut down today, your rice will make you survive. Rice and water, 2 things you need. Even pasta will do it. Pasta is good as well. So, again, there's no such thing as, panic. There's no need to panic. There's no need to get too excited. To me, this is normal. Okay? This is what I call blowback. Now, what actually has happened? Let me explain to you. What has actually happened is that Israel had sent in their Mossad, and they had assassinated certain Iranian scientists, nuclear scientists, and they have been doing this for the last few years. Of course, you can't expect the Persian Empire, Iran as it was once known, you can't expect it to just stay silent and do nothing. The momentum gathered as Israel continued to do that, and I think the reasons Israel had to do that was that they believed that if they didn't eliminate these scientists, they may develop a nuclear bomb, which could potentially be used against Israel. So Israel was kind of, doing it in response to, well, why should they even be building a bomb to attack us? So why don't we just get rid of their scientists and just put a stop to that? However, that was kind of, I guess, their view of the internal government. But what happened? There's always blowback. I'm not saying they were right or wrong in their decision. All I'm saying is that there's always a blowback. When you start killing people like that, don't expect for your people to be left unharmless. Something's going to happen to them too. So you're going to have to pay the price for that, and that's what's happening right now. They are now paying the price for what they did in the last 5 years. If you go back, you'll find plenty of news items where they have actually gone and they have actually assassinated Iranian nuclear scientists. And there's other things have gone on in the Middle East in which Israel directly has their finger in the pie. So Israel's not quite as innocent as everybody thinks, and not as guilty, but not as innocent either. We've got to look at the whole picture. So what has happened is that Israel now has to face blowback in its country, and this time has been pretty severe, compared to the previous wars, because this time Israel was taken by surprise. Now there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there saying that it was deliberately allowed to happen. I'm not sure I agree with that. I don't think Israel will deliberately allow one of its key commanders to be abducted, or allow his 100 or whatever number of casualties Israel had. I don't think they'll allow that to take place. However, conspiracy theorists are having their heyday, claiming that this couldn't have happened without some inside, doors being left unlocked kind of thing. So that's the Israeli front. On the Russian and Ukrainian front, the war is still going on. Russia is actually gaining upper hand at this moment. And right now, America is sending everything, the baby and the bathwater, everything is going over there to Ukraine. Bombs, missiles, tanks, rocket launches, grenades, mortars, even fighter jets and tanks, Leopard tanks. So it doesn't matter how many weapons America throws at, in Ukraine towards Russia. Russia is fighting a slow-moving battle, and Russia knows how to fight this war because Russia has already fought many wars before. They had a war going on in the past, Soviet Union, and it was won. They fought a war with Afghanistan, they fought a war with some other countries. They're used to fighting slow wars, and so is America. America's used to fighting slow wars. But the only thing is that America does bleed as well. Like a human being, America bleeds. But the thing is this, that America has the finances, but there are only so much finances that can go on. I mean, sure, we can print the dollars, we can print as many dollars as we like, it's our currency, and we can just start shipping it out to Ukraine and everywhere else. But I think there has to be some accountability, and at some point this will have to be addressed. But right now, status quo in Ukraine and Russia. Now, the other major thing that happened in the east in Pakistan is right next door to Pakistan, Afghanistan. There was an earthquake. Earthquake hit the city of Herat, and of course, it was a heavy one. The earthquake, I think, is around 7 point something magnitude, and then there were several other shorter earthquakes, 4 or 5 of them, and we have seen a lot of people are injured over there, a lot of destruction of property. Now, India had an earthquake, Nepal had an earthquake similarly, not as heavy maybe as Afghanistan, but they also had the similar earthquakes. Now, what Pakistan did before the earthquake, this is before the earthquake, is they made a decision, the military made a decision that the Afghanistan refugees that were in Pakistan, I believe there were around maybe 2 million or maybe a little bit plus, they decided that they have to go home. That's it, we had enough of them. And the reason was that some of these people had become so ingrained into the cities and into businesses set up businesses, and they started doing a lot of illegal activity, abduction of girls, little children, smuggling of petrol, goods, smuggling of rice, wheat, smuggling of dollars, you name it. They were doing it. Smuggling of weapons, they were doing everything. So a lot of these and smuggling of course, drug smuggling, all of these things, and foods as well, by the way. All of these things, Afghanistani people who first came here as refugees, they were involved in. And a lot of those people were still illegal immigrants. They had no right to stay here. They had no documents, no papers. So the military in Pakistan, the commanders decided enough is enough, because they met with the business community in Karachi, I believe, and they spoke to them and they said, suggest to us how we do things to make it better, because the country is really going downhill, and the dollar has, surpassed in money in terms of the local currency, and we need to, prop up local currency and also sort out the economics in the country, because people are suffering. People have the inflation went so high that things almost doubled in price. So, and people were struggling because their bills doubled in price. Electricity bills doubled in price. So what happened? The business community said, "Hey, listen, can we?" And these were all, very mature businessmen in their 50s, and they said, "Listen." All very, very rich businessmen. They said, "Listen, what you need to do is you need to shut down the Afghan border. You need to get rid of these Afghanistan people, and you need to do a couple of other things." So they suggested a few items for them, and they said, if you do that, we will be able to save our country, because right now the country is been torn away by all these different things happening to it. So the general said, "Okay, we're going to do it." So they made a announcement that within whatever time it was, 5 days, 7 days, they said, all of you Afghanistani people who are here as refugees, who have got no right to stay here, you better get out, or we're going to be arresting you after this time. At the end, they gave them end of October. I think it's 31st October. They said, if you're not gone by October 31st, we will come and arrest you, your whole families, and we'll ship you to the border and get you out of our country. And so this is what's beginning to happen now. And they told the local people, the local residents, they said, anybody who tells us about where there's an Afghanistan family who are illegal, we will give you a little prize of, I think it was not a huge amount of money. It was like $20 or something like that. We'll give you $20 as a reward for, to the local police station for who can identify and tell us, oh yeah, there's a refugee family there and they're illegal. So the people started to do that over here, and they started to collect that $20 bounty for naming refugee families. So the police would come and then take them away and ship them out. That's, by the way, is beginning to happen over here right now in Pakistan, and they started to remove families, and many families automatically have realized, refugee families, that they have to eventually go. Some of them have voluntarily started to leave as well. But the thing is that, of course, the drug dealers, the child molesters and the kidnappers, and all those people are going to have to be removed sooner or later, and they'll have to be removed forcefully. And so the military is working on that solution. And I can tell you this much, that when this whole thing started, the dollar rate to the local currency was like over 308, and illegal rate was 350, went to almost 340. So now the illegal rate for dollar went down to 285, below 285, and the legal rate went to 279, somewhere there. So it drastically fell, and what that means is that the country's debt is now reduced because the dollar value has reduced to their local currency. Before, the debt had expanded because the dollar was, the local currency was out of control, but now they've controlled it. Now that has helped a lot. That's helped tremendously in the price of sugar, price of eggs, price of milk, many other things, prices that were skyrocketing have stopped and stopped pushing back. Sugar has become less in price. Oil has become less in price, cooking oil and other things like that. So things have started to regress because of these actions. Actually, things have started to become better. Car prices had spiraled out of control. New car prices. Car prices have dropped. This week there was a, I think you guys call it Kaya, we call it Kia. Kaya reduced the price of their Sportage vehicles and some other vehicles by almost $4,000. Some of the other companies reduced their prices by $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. All across the board, there's been a reduction in the price of new cars because their executives were also called in by the military, and they were asked a question: why the hell have you increased the prices? I mean, the brands that were made locally, they said, well, how come you're charging more for the Toyota brand because you're making it locally? How can you increase the price and take it to double? What's special about it? So they told them, they said, unless you change your ways and unless you fix it, we're going to kick you out of the country. We're going to remove your garage and seize it, and you'll be deported from here. Japanese makers, and their franchises over here. So now what happened? Toyota, I think they've reduced their production and they've also put their prices down. And all across the board, they're bringing their prices down. That's basically the local things that are going on. Earthquake, of course, presently they're dealing with the earthquake. I don't know. Pakistan's also sealed the border. Pakistan-Afghanistan border is now sealed. Nothing's coming in and nothing's going out. I think the people that are leaving through the illegal border. Those are the parts that they left open. Because I guess the military was told that anybody that crosses over from this side, from Pakistan to the other side, let them go. But don't let people come from the other side this way. So it's like a one-way street. So I think that when a country is being overrun by illegal immigrants who are actually not come here to prosper the country, but only come to prosper themselves and to start to destroy the local economy, these kind of actions have to be done. And I'm pretty sure that Americans are well versed with the immigration that happens from the Latin America. This is why certain leaders in America had to take certain actions to alleviate that. And I think more of that is coming in America by the next president who turns up. Obviously not a Democrat. No Democrat president is going to come, but we're going to see a Republican president next, and he will do that. So that's the situation there. Okay, now on the teaching front, on our Torah front, we are presently in the first Parsha. We just passed the Feast of Tabernacles. I'm pretty sure that all of you, and I'm hoping and I'm sure as well that you have had a very interesting and eventful times with your families celebrating the festival. This is wonderful of Tabernacles. And we come back to Parsha number 1, Beresheeth, book of Genesis, in which we have, in the beginning, Elohim powers created the Shemaim and the land. Reading from the hidden Truths Hebraic Scrolls. The land was desolate and chaotic, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Ruach of Elohim, powers in plural by the way, Holy Spirit, was fluttering over the face of the Maim, and Elohim powers said, light be, and light was. And Elohim powers in plural. So the light that it was good, and Elohim powers separated the light from the darkness. And Elohim powers called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So the morning and the evening were Yom Echad, day 1. So we see the whole creation cycle over here, and we are going through that. And for many of you, taking it symbolically, mystically, many of you, it is a brand new beginning for you. Brand new beginning for you to have your life put together and held together, and so that you may do the things that you desire, and you may have prosperity in your lives, abundance, health, great relationships. This is the whole purpose. I don't want to, there was a time where I would spend a lot of time speaking about what the Midrash says, what this rabbi said, and what that one said, and so on and so forth. And I found that although that all seemed very nice to hear, it seemed like nice things to hear, but the problem was nobody was prospering. Our people were not prospering. Our people were still struggling because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to do it. So I decided to switch, and I decided that it was time that I switch and start teaching you what it is that makes you prosperous, what techniques, what tools Torah offers us, our holy books, what tools they offer us that you may use to, to better your life. And I switched in 2018 to now and going forward, that I started to teach those tools and techniques. And I can tell you, tremendous change came. Tremendous change. Sure, we lost some people because they were only interested in maybe religion, and I wasn't. I was interested more in the dynamics and the daily living of Torah rather than just the religious garb of it, how to wear a talit and how to tie your, your zitzis, etc. But so we moved away from that. Not that those things were not important. Of course, they're important in their own right, but they are not the be-all and end-all of Torah. Torah is much, much bigger than that. Torah is about you. Torah is about your life, your family, and the moving forward, going forward of your family. If you these days, if your family doesn't have finance, how are they going to eat? So I had to teach you how to fish, how to bring that wealth into your lives, and that's what I focus on thereon, from that day onwards. So therefore, this exercise I gave you a number of weeks ago is that imagine you have $3 million given to you. It's sitting in your account. You have it. It's there. Now at night, when you go to bed, there's two things I want you to do. First of all, take a copy and pen and write down a desire that you want to have, a manifestation of whatever it is, whether it's a pot of money, sum of money, whether it's a relationship, whether it's you want to buy a new car or a new home, you want to move to a new house. I want you to write that, but I want you to write it 30 times every night. And maybe you don't have time to write it in the morning. Okay, I can take that. But I want you to write it before you hit bed. And you know what you should be doing? What you should be doing is if you sleep in the daytime, if you're in shifts, if you sleep at night because in regular hours, then at night you take a notepad and a pen to your bed. You even keep it at your bedside. You sit on your bed. That's the last thing you do. In other words, maybe you're watching a YouTube clip, maybe you're watching a movie, maybe a drama, maybe sports, whatever you do, news. But when you go to your bed, the last thing you do is you write that desire and you write it 30 times. Okay? And you can write more than one. It's up to you. How much time you can spend. And maybe you spend 15 minutes. Maybe you spend 20 minutes, last 20 minutes of your day. That is the most important to bring your desire to you. It doesn't matter what your desire is, but if you write it every night before you go to bed, calm yourself down, be happy, because now you're about to interface with God. Because when you're writing it, you're interfacing with God. You're actually telling God that this is what I want to have. And sure, you should. There's no such thing as need. In Christianity, it was taught, hey, God knows your needs. You don't need to ask. That is not true. That is absolutely not true. You need to tell God what you want. Make a list. Tell God what you want. And then God will fulfill your need. It's not about God knows your needs and you automatically. No, that's just religious garbage. Let's put religious garbage to one side. God wants to know, what do you want? And you can ask God, I want this. I want $5 million. I want a brand new car. I want a home. I want a great relationship. Tell God that. You have to tell God that. But God's not just there calculating, every day, thinking, oh yeah, I think He wants, I think He wants this. No, it's not like that. God has many other individuals to look at. Imagine, billions of people's thoughts going to God's head. So which one is He going to produce first? So you're going to have to ask God and want it. Forget about this, don't ask, don't want, don't. This is again garbage. You want to tell God what you want, not what your need is. Or you might say, well, my need was only, a loaf of bread, but actually, I want the whole shebang. Don't want just a loaf of bread. I want a dozen eggs with it. I want chocolate candy bars. I want, I want my beef steak and I want my lamb steak. Yeah, ask for it. Ask for it. Don't just stick to the loaf of bread. Ask God for what you want. And God can deliver it, and God will deliver it. But you got to be on it. So I'm giving you the case. I'm giving you the methodology. I'm giving you the tool how to do it. The tool is you write it. That writing, that you're writing, you're asking God to deliver it, and God will deliver it. Similarly, you do that at night. Maybe you do it with one. Okay, let's say if you find it too difficult to write 30 times. Okay, can you write 10 times? 1/3 of that, you must do it at least 10 times. Write it 10 times. Each affirmation, maybe take 3 affirmations, 3 of your top desires, write them 10 times each. I think that's suffice. You can do that, and you should be able to do that, and you should continue to do that until it is done. So it will suffice, at least 10 times each affirmation. Maybe one affirmation is for your apartment, maybe one is for your car, maybe one is for sum of money. Write 3 of them each, 10 times each. I can give you a leeway for 10 times each, unless those of you who are finding it difficult to write it 30 times, for whatever reason. And other than that, make it your job to write it 30 times. Yes, 30 times means 30 times. 3 affirmations, 30, 30, 30, 90. It doesn't take you a whole lot of time. 15 minutes maybe you can do it. 15 minutes. Last 15 minutes of the day, how important is your life? You need to ask yourself the question, how important is my life? How important is this thing to me? How important it is that I have a business? Or how important is that I have a certain sum of money by the end of the month? How important it is that what kind of health I need to have? If it's not important to you, then nobody else cares either. Don't think that other people care for you. No, you need to care for yourself. You need to produce it. You are a producer. You are a creator. God has created everything. You need to call it out. Remember, I explained to you that everything was created in day one. Day one, the sun, the moon, the stars, everything was created. Now, man, of course, God made this thing of man, this model from clay, but He hadn't put a breath of life in it yet. It was already done on day one as well, but He hadn't put any breath in it yet. The breath was put on the 6th day. So therefore, you also need to remember you're going to call these things out. Yeah, they're already there. So you're technically like a creator, kind of a manifester, but you're calling it out. You want $1 million? Call it out. You want a new car? Call it out. You want a new house? Call it out. You want $50 million? Call it out. So how not desperate is probably the wrong word, but how much do you want it? How really, really deep down you want it? And how really deep down you want it, that's how much you're going to persist. Persist in it. Persist. Do not give up. Persist. If, for instance, let me give you a simple affirmation, which I may have before as well, and I think I did. Let's say, let me pick one. Let me give you a new one. Okay. I have a 5-figure income working from home. Now, how does that sound? 5-figure income. What is a 5-figure income? It could be $10,000. It could be 15. It could be 20. It could be 30. It could be 40. Anywhere up to $99,000 is a 5-figure income. So you want a 5-figure income, that's $99,000 up to. Now, what if you want a 6-figure income? Well, a 6-figure income means it could be 100,000. It could be 2. It could be 300. 400, 500, up to $999,000. One less short of $1 million. So let's put down for you. Let's raise up the goals. Let's say I have a 6-figure income working from home. I have a 6-figure income working from home. I have a 6-figure income working from home. You write it down. Now write it down. If you have more than one affirmation, write it down 10 times. Each affirmation at night, sitting on your bed. That's the condition, by the way. No, I want you to sit on your bed, not on your couch, not on your chair, not in your kitchen chair, not in your bedroom chair. No, I want you to sit on your bed and write that. You write it 10 times, and if you're apt, if you've got no problem, write it 30 times. and before you go to bed, before you sleep, and then get a feeling. You got to have that feeling of you having received that money. So what would be the feeling? What would be the feeling if you started to earn six-figure income a month? What's a six-figure income? When I say a month, sorry, I mean annually. What's a six-figure income? I explained it to you. It could be between 100 to 999,000, one short of $1 million. That's a six-figure income. 999,000. Okay, $999,000 would I guess. Let me just make sure I get it right. 999,000. Yeah, so 999,000 is a six-figure income. $1 short of $1 million is your income. So you don't even need to specify. Oh, I like to earn $150,000. Oh, I like to earn $200,000. I want to earn $250,000. No, you just put down six-figure income. When you put down six-figure income, it could be anywhere from $100,000 to $999,000. Isn't that great? That's a great income. How about you feel it, that you have it? How about you get that feeling that you have it? What would you do? What would you feel like if you had that kind of income? What would you do? What would you feel? And where would you spend it? So when I gave you the $3 million exercise, I wanted you to illustrate the point of you trying to spend that money and invest it as well. Spend it on yourself. You deserve to. And also invest and then get a feeling. How does it feel? Maybe you feel joyous. Maybe you feel excited. Maybe you have tingling, in your stomach. That, hey, I've got $3 million. Wow, I can do, buy a few nice items now. So those things happen to us humans. I want you to get that feeling. It's like you putting a lemon in your mouth and not even putting in your mouth. You're just imagining a lemon and you get a mouth watering. So I want you to get the same mouth watering having 3 million. You're going to imagine, I have 3 million, it's already in my bank. Now, I'm not asking you to imagine it. I'm asking you to believe that you already have 3 million in your bank, but I want you to now spend that money in your mind. In your mind's eye, whether you keep your eyes open or closed, you're spending that money. Yes, you went out, maybe you bought a Galaxy phone, maybe you bought an iPhone 15, who knows what which one you like, and only you know. And maybe you go out and buy a new laptop. Maybe you like Macintoshes and you bought a new MacBook M2 or M3, and maybe you bought a new clothes, makeup, perfume. Those things only you know which ones you like. So you just imagine that, hey, I'm going downtown. Maybe you're doing online shopping and you're buying these different items. You're putting them in your basket. Maybe go through the exercise. Go to Amazon. Go to Apple site. Whatever items you desire to buy, just put them in your basket. Just add them up, put them in your basket, but just don't pay for it. Just leave it at that point, and then just do this exercise daily. Going to the website, Amazon website, buying, looking for some nice perfumes, putting them in your basket, and then just leave them there. And then come the next day, remove the items and do it again. Just keep doing the same thing. Similarly, for Apple's website, go and do it one time and do it again. By the way, I want to tell you a testimony. I think it's well worth noting this testimony. I was doing the same exercise last year for buying a Mac M2, but I wanted to get the M2 with 24 GB RAM and 1 terabyte drive. So what I started to do, I'm telling you what I did, and I'm telling you what to do. I started to do the same exercise. I went to the Apple website, and I have an account with them already. So I started to add, M2, and first it was the M1, but then I thought, no, not the M1, I want the M2. And I started to add the M2, and then I started to add the more memory into it. You select the 16 gigabyte memory, then you add, 24 to it. I added 24 memory to it, which was the best, which was the one I could put 24 memory and 1 terabyte drive. Then I look at the price, it was, a certain amount of money, and I kept doing that exercise. I put it into my bag. They have a little this bag, virtual bag. I put it in the virtual bag and I go and look at it. I printed it. I printed that virtual bag with a specification, and I put that specification on my laptop. screen, my desktop, laptop screen, and I used to read it every day. And I used to go back to the Apple site, remove it from my cart, remove it from my bag, and add it back in again. Keep doing that. That exercise I did for maybe within the space of 3 to 4 months or something like that. And guess what? Guess what I have today? I'm actually speaking to you on that laptop that I was adding to my bag in apple.com. So I have the 24 GB laptop, and I have the M2, and I have the 1 terabyte drive. Isn't that great? Baruch Hashem. So I'm telling you something that works. This is not imagination. This is not repeating it 50 times a day. This is not writing it even 10 times, 30 times a night. I did none of those things. I just simply went to Apple site, added it into my bag, the 24 GB RAM, 1 terabyte drive. Oh yeah, it comes to so much in so many dollars. And now I add it to my bag. Now I go away, I print it. I only printed it once I don't need to do the print PDF file every night. I just took a picture of it, screenshot, and put it on my desktop. And then I do that every day. And I just during the week, I just remove it from my bag, add it back in. Exercise. Remove it from my bag, add it back in. Exercise. Okay? It's called exercises. These are tools. These prime your brain. These make your connection between you and God. Because the connection that is made between me and God is my subconscious mind, my super mind, my super subconscious. They call it subconscious. I even call it super mind. So your super mind is the one that makes a connection to God. And when you keep doing it, it automatically now it's between you and God. God knows where to bring in that money and how to do it and how not, and He will produce it for you. Okay? This I'm only illustrating a laptop, but this method could be applied to anything. It could be applied to $10 million. It could be applied to having a new apartment or to having a new car. Okay? It could be applied to all of that. And there are things that I desire, and there are things that you desire. And there's nothing wrong with it. And we continue to work on it. Baruch Hashem. So this is why I continue to teach you. This is what you need to do. You need to call it out. In verse Genesis chapter 1, verse 8. And Elohim powers called the expanse Shamayim, called the expanse heavens. So the evening and the morning were Yom Shani. It says, and Elohim powers called. Now let me show you something very illustrative. I think it's in verse. Let's see. The land was desolate. The darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Ruach of Elohim was fluttering over the face of the Maim. And then so the light was separated, and after the light separation, it was day 1. Let's see, day 4 is an important one. For days Yom Shirishi, day 3. Okay, let's get to day 4. Day 4, okay, so here we are. And Elohim powers, verse 17, set them in the expanse of the Shemaim to give light on the earth. But hey, before that, more important time. Verse 16, and Elohim powers appointed and brought forth means called out. He called out 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, the stars. And Elohim power set them in the expanse of the Shemaim to give light on the earth. In other words, you call it out, you appoint it. So what are you doing? When I'm giving you the exercise, what are you doing? You're calling it out. You're appointing it. You're saying, this is my appointment. This is what I'm calling out. I'm calling out $50 million. I'm calling out $10 million. Or I'm calling out a brand new car. I'm calling out a brand new house, apartment. These are things that you're calling out. By the way, this is not, this is not just films, movies. No, this is real what I'm teaching you. This is very real. You are calling it out and it's going to happen for you. Now you need to be diligent on it. Be very due diligent. Remember, I just gave you illustration of what happened with me last year, and I have the laptop. By the way, I want the next laptop. I want the nice, new, powerful one, because I found that the 1 terabyte drive is good. It's great. I'm very happy with it. Very, very happy with the laptop. But I like to have the one with a 4 terabyte drive. That's being worked on. So Similarly, and more memory, of course. Not 24. I think I need more memory. How about 96 gigabyte RAM? So my point is very simple. You do not stop. You want something better? Sure, no problem. God will deliver it to you. God is there to benefit us. God is there to give us these things. We have come to this planet. We didn't come to this planet to suffer and to cry and to have problems. Sure, we go through challenges. Many of us go through different challenges. We came to this planet to enjoy life. God put us in this planet for God also to enjoy life. Why? God through us enjoys life. And through us, God gets blessed. Well, if God gets blessed through us, then of course, does God enjoy it or not? He enjoys it. Yes, He does. So similarly, therefore, you're not asking for something, being material. It's nothing about being materialistic. This is about you being practical and you receiving the things so you can, maybe down the path, when you're in that position, how many people can you help? Think about that. How many people can you give your abundance, make your abundance, make them part of your abundance? I'm pretty sure many people. I'm pretty sure you'll have plans. One person I spoke to, they said, well, if I get a nice sum of money, I'm going to help these people who are these, I think they're talking about nurses or somebody, and they were saying that they're going to set up some kind of foundation to help nurses in some way, something to do with nurses. So they had some kind of plan like that to help nurses in some way in America. And so different people have different ideas. Different people, different ideas. Some people say, okay, I'm going to use some of my money to help, some people in third world countries and give them clean water. Some people might say, well, I'm going to help some people. I'm going to help those that are in need. Those that are maybe they are children who are struggling with parents. Children with parents, not just orphans. Children with parents who are struggling, who can't go to schools. I'm going to help them to go to school. There are different projects, different things you can do. We forget there's not just the orphans, but there's also those children whose parents don't earn enough livings to send their children to school. I had a girl come to me, and she said to me in the East, she wanted to send her brothers and sisters to school. They were like three or four of the brothers and sisters. They were like in different ages, under 16, and they were not going to school. And she kind of got some money together and then fell short. And she asked me. She said, "Could I give her?" How much was she asking? Wasn't a huge lot. She was saying to me that she wanted to have, I think it was close to $100, and I sent her the $100. And then she came back. She wanted some more for their uniforms and for some other stuff. And there was another $100, so I gave her another close to $100. So I gave them the $200 so that she could go and buy uniforms. She could send her brothers and sisters to school because her father's been wrongly incarcerated and under false charges. And so I did that because I said to her that I sympathize with her, and I said to her, your brothers and sisters, I said, school's going to give them nothing. School's not going to make them rich, but they still need to learn how to read, write, and add together, mathematics, simple mathematics. And I said they need that in their life. So for that they need school. So I was all for her to send her children to, not her children, but they're like her children to her, but they're like brothers and sisters. And I did help them. So my point is that, doing that, you may have the finances to do that for some other people and say, okay, I'll support those people who want to send their brothers and sisters or whatever to school, and I'll support them up to the level of where they can read and write. You're not trying to make them engineers and doctors and lawyers and scientists. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm saying that you may be in a position, in a time, to do certain things which you're not able to do now. How great is that? That you can do it in the near future. So work on that for those reasons. Maybe members in your own family. But I want to actually make a request this time to you, and it's been a long time since I made no request to you for anybody to be, given money free and doing things. But there is a family in the coastal city of Karachi, and I want to shift them from there to another city, and I want to make sure that the mother is doing a very simple job, like a cleaner's job in a school, and she can do a similar job where I'm moving them to. I'm moving them to another family's home out of their city because their life is technically in danger, technically, not practically, but technically. Because a father happened to sell their daughter, and I don't want the father to come and sell the second daughter. So I'm trying to help them in that, to move them out of that place, move them into a safer place in another city, and for that there is a certain expense that will incur, for their food, clothing, and shelter. And if you can assist with that, I would appreciate it. I need about $500 for them. It's not a huge amount. It's not like, I'm asking you for $5,000 or even $2,000. I'm asking you simply for $500. And those of you who can assist, those of you who are able, if all you do is send in $50, $100, if you can do that, it will be great. I'll appreciate it very much. I will use it to help that family because I need to buy. The girl has really no clothes. She has very old clothes. I need to buy her new clothes. I need to give them money for food. I need to give them money for rent. Those are the three key items that I'm working on. So as you please, assist me, and I also need to pay for their travel. Their travel is going to be, cost both mother and daughter $100 from one city to the other. So I want to also cover their travel. So that $500 will be used for such. So if you are able, please do put a donation in. Whether you do it through PayPal, or I don't have Cash App, so don't do Cash App. You can do it through Venmo, Venmo app. You can do it through Chime, or you can do it through PayPal. Or, those of you who have my bank account, you can send it directly to my bank account. And I need this money to assist this family next week. My plan is next week. So as soon as I get the funds together, I want to assist them. I want to ship them out, and I want to, then I've already spoken to the people in the next city, and I've already asked them that I'm going to ship them over here, and if they can assist them, if they can help them find a job, if they can help the mother find a job, maybe in a school, maybe in a hospital as a cleaner, and then maybe they can find the girl a college, like a local college, community college, where they teach different things. So I've asked them, they suggested to me that we can put the girl in a local community college where she can learn how to be a beauty therapist. I said, that's fine, just do that. Because the girl wanted to be a doctor. And I said to the girl, sure, you want to be a doctor, but I said maybe put that on the back burner because that's going to require a lot more capital. But for now, if you start with the community college, then down the road you can see what happens and where you are then. And you can work on this as you go along. So that's where we are. So now moving on to yourself and to your personal manifestations and desires, I want you to work on your desires every day. Remember, I said the last thing you do is you sit on your bed and you write your affirmations out, and then you go to sleep. Okay? And then if you have the time to do it, then you do when you wake up in the morning, and you do it in the morning. I'm only asking you for 2 times. Okay? Discipline yourself to do that. And if you don't have the time in the morning because you're in a hurry to go to your office, because you got to catch a train or bus or whatever, or drive by a car and drive a certain amount of time to get to your office, then it's okay. I'm not asking you to do it in the morning. If those of you who can't, you can't means you can't, okay? Then you can do it in the evening, then you must do it in the evening, okay? I want you to do it in the evening. So it's an order. It's an order from here that you must do it in the evening before you go to bed. Because if you do it in the evening, then that is what your consciousness, the God self within, the God within you, that is what is going to be working on, and it's going to bring it to your life. And I want you to be prosperous. I want you to be abundant. I want you to have whole health. I want you to have prosperity in your lives and happiness. My job here is not done till I see you happy and prosperous and joyous with your families. So don't see me. I am here to help you. I'm here to make you successful. By making you successful, it will give me peace and joy as well, that I have done great things on behalf of God, because God put me here to assist you, to help you, to show you how to do things. And maybe there are things that you're not sure of, certain things that you don't know about Torah, the ways of life, how we live. Sure, write me an email. I'm here to assist you. I can tell you how to do those things. Just write me an email, shimon63@yahoo.com, SHIMOUN60 @yahoo.com. Okay, so I'm very happy to talk to you. I'm very happy to teach you. I'm very happy to be your teacher, to your Kohen. I'm very happy to be your rabbi and your Kohen. And I'm here to assist you. Your success is my success. Your failure is my failure. Your success will become my success, and your happiness will become my happiness. That's how I look at it. I'm not from those pastors who just sit there to make collections. I'm not there. And when you're crying and when you're deeply in distress, all they say to you is that I'll pray for you. No, I'm more than that. I am more than that. I can not only petition for you, pray for you, but I can do much more than that. I can move mountains for you as well. So don't put me in the same chair. I'm not like that. I'm special. I'm a Kohen. I have many, many powers that I can use and utilize. And I will. For some of you, I will utilize those powers to assist you and benefit you. So, Baruch Hashem, thank you, Abba, that you give me those powers. I'm so happy and delighted. And I thank you for allowing me to teach the people over here so that they can benefit and be blessed. Baruch Hashem, I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful time, because we've been through our festivals, and now the next one is not really a Torah commanded festival. It's just a outside one. It's basically Hanukkah, which is going to turn up in December. So there's time for that. But in the meantime, be very happy. Be persistent with what you do, and continue to do it with a due diligence. I know you're going to succeed. I know you're going to succeed already. But you're going to be just stay with me and be persistent. Baruch Hashem, have a wonderful, wonderful Sabbath, a wonderful new week with your families. Much love to you and peace in the Elohim of Israel. Baruch Hashem. Shabbat Shalom and Shalom Shalom.